I'm doing.
Synderen, how are you doing?
I'm good, Shannon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So glad to hear it.
Someone who isn't good is Boxley.
Yeah, he's going to be first blooded. It'll go to save. So BetBoom already on the board. Good start for them. We have 2 subs in this game, Synderen.
I believe the only 2 substitutes of the entire tournament are actually being
lucky us
shown off immediately here on the main screen.
Kiritich in place of Pure, and then Vitun in place of Mickey. Which one will have a bigger impact? Call it now.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm mainly curious about, because for me, I think in this season, it's fair to say Mickey might have been the standout player for Liquid. I actually think, over the last couple of years with this Liquid roster, Nisha was getting a ton of the credit, very deservedly so. I really think Mickey has leveled up, and him being missing is, without a doubt, bad news for Liquid. However, this is a tournament that Liquid generally does not do very well in DreamLeague. so what's going to be stronger is it the stand-in factor of getting something in your team that doesn't constantly lose at DreamLeague. But the stand-in they chose got last place last time.
That's right.
So maybe
they cancel each other out.
Yeah, what is the stronger force? And then Kiritich, VP their team is very strong right now, and Kiritich is a very big part of that. So I don't think BetBoom could have got a better stand-in in this position, actually, for their team. I think this was the best option.
Yep, for sure. Kiritich stuck inside the shard's going to fight his way out of it, though, as Kataomi playing the Ringmaster. And in terms of the facets chosen, Synderen, unfortunately, it will be Carney Classic, so no unicycle to come.
Yep.
But the whoopee cushion, of course, we're all very excited about. Do you think this hero needs any changes? Or do you like where he's at, other than, the facets maybe not being the same power level?
I think his design overall is pretty satisfying to both watch and play. So, maybe a couple of tweaks here and there. It's interesting because when we were in Raleigh, this hero was being picked constantly. He was not good enough to be a first phase ban.
Yeah.
But he still ended the tournament, I want to say, at about a 50% win rate, or at least not overwhelmingly good. So in that tournament, he seemed kind of balanced for the most part. I think his facet choices are unique and interesting. So, I don't know. I don't think this hero needs to be changed much. Personally.
Needs a third facet with a third set of goodies that you can use, of course. That's all that's missing.
He needs to...
And in that one, it's a motorcycle instead of a unicycle. He just keeps upgrading.
He needs to be able to set up a booth, a shooting range booth.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
No idea how you would implement that, but...
No, it fits the theme. That's all that matters. That's called the top-down approach when it comes to game design, Synderen.
Can we just agree that that's one of the most fun parts of carnivals, is the shooting part?
Especially in America. So, into this bottom lane.
That's not at all what I was going for, but,
It's fine. We can have our inside jokes that, of course, nobody will understand. And there is the Shackle in the top lane. Vitun taking a decent amount of damage, but will live through the day. Of course, going up against a Timbersaw as a Dragon Knight can be a bit painful at times. What do you think about this lane, and who should have the advantage?
Yeah, that was actually one of the most surprising parts of the entire draft for me, was the fact that Liquid picked DK into Timber and then choose to lane them against each other. Generally speaking, this is a very good lane for Timbersaw. There's two aspects of this hero that I think are the most important at a pro level. Number one is getting through your lane unscathed. There are some carry matchups that can be tough and support matchups that can be tough. I think this one's a really easy lane, actually, for Timber, so that checks the box there. And then the second part is, do you have good core matchups later in the game? And yeah, you do. This guy, Dragon Knight, doesn't really particularly enjoy getting wailed away at by a Timber, so oh my god, he had lived on 5 health there.
Yep, that's pretty low.
So I'm looking at this draft. I think this is an insane Timber game. I can't believe this is such a good game for the hero, considering BetBoom picked it second overall.
Watch him die here. And yeah, as the usual Cinder
9 stick.
Caster's Curse. Dragon Tail's there from Vitun. He's got the Lotus from Save, so they're going to turn this around onto the AA instead. So Insania likely will drop to a casual right-click from the Rasta.
Miero also had a salve of his own, so he's going to heal up nicely here and continue his progression. And this is one of Miero's best heroes. So you give this guy a game-winning hero as a second pick.
Oh, Saberlight. Yep. He is going to tick out, has no mana to speak of. Oh, he actually pops the wand and will live as we have a spike. in the Matrix here. Kataomi stuck inside the shards, has to try to fight his way out. Blood Grenade does connect on the Medusa, but will barely live. Unfortunately for Kataomi, not going to be the case.
Yeah, he opted to whip the Medusa instead of the Tusk. He could have 100% saved his own life by using Tame the Beast on the Tusk there, but went for the big kill, did not get the reward. But at the very least, he does send Saberlight back to base. But good news for Liquid to get something going in this bottom lane, because Medusa is not having the best of times here to start off this game. Tiny, of course, a very, very strong safe laner in this patch. Tons of damage and a good attack animation, which is something Medusa can struggle against.
Yeah, what do you think about that mid lane? You got the Nature's Prophet versus the Monkey King. Right now, it is favored by the Monkey King at the moment, especially in terms of levels. As Save is making his way to attempt to gank onto Nisha, but he is spotted. Although they're going to still go on him. GPK gonna get the Jingu stacks up. There's a TP coming in from Boxy. The snowball save. Gonna try to use this to kill off of Save. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 though, unless the Ice Shards does finish the job, but still. Favor going the way of BetBoom. GPK is going to be super happy with this exchange. Yeah, for sure.
This is a lane that I would say in general I would just consider kind of even. The Monkey King against Nature's Prophet, and that was also how it was going until that gank came in. But that's the X factor in this lane, is who is easier to gank for is definitely the Monkey King. You come in with any sort of stun or slow, Nature's Prophet can't defend himself against the Monkey King once he does connect on him. Sprout is just going to get quelled instantly. And you continue, and you saw there, even with a Tusk save coming in from Boxy, that was not enough to salvage that situation. So, yeah, BetBoom should be feeling very good about themselves right now. And of course, with that Tusk rotation forced, they can also really try to put some pressure down here on the bot lane onto Saberlight to prevent him from getting a foothold. Currently the lowest net worth core by a decent margin already.
Yep, and how are we feeling about the Medusa as an offlaner in the current meta?
Super strong. Easily one of, in my opinion, the most overtuned heroes in the right game, which in this game you're not really against the most obvious counters. So in theory, this could be an incredible Medusa game, so I totally get why Liquid picked it, but it has some build-up time. You need to get out of your laning stage, you need to get your hammer, you need to get your Gleipnir, if you're going for that build, which I assume Saberlight will in this game. Starting with the 2 nulls, that is generally what you're signaling. But there's no obvious mana burn with the exception of Monkey King. But even that one hero can be enough sometimes, which I think played a very big part in BetBoom's last pick choice here for sure.
Well, Save will be able to get his Wisdom Shrine and Boxy the other, so it's a trade.
Standard.
No shenanigans.
Yep.
I know you're a real big fan of Wisdom Runes after discussion in the pregame, of course.
If you want to go down that road, this version of Wisdom is the best one we've had.
Yeah, you said this. Yeah.
Without a doubt. I did not like the rune design where it was about just clicking it and who got lucky almost.
Yeah.
This one is an actual objective where you can control the outcome by bringing more heroes and being smarter about distributing your resources. I think that's cool.
You like people being starved of resources, though. That's why you don't like XP giving.
Okay.
Like free XP, essentially.
I'm one of those sick old guys who's like,
you could just stop right there, and I agree.
There you go. That's it. That was actually what I was going to say. No, I enjoy trying to make a lot out of very little. So that's definitely something that has changed over the years in Dota, where I understand that I'm in a vast minority.
So like making a great career out of very little talent.
That's right. That's a good example of it. I really tried my best there.
You're
but
doing great.
You know, the good old position 5 with not very much. So it's very much about having excellent spell casting, because the punishment is severe if you don't, because you don't really have any items to cover for yourself, or the good old, you know, the true 1v3 offlane experience where it's about, okay, how much can you inch out of an impossible situation. I miss that a bit, but I understand that's not a very popular opinion.
Now, Save accompanied by a banana. They're going to ignore the support. They're going to go for V-Tune instead on this Dragon Knight, jungling away.
He's cooked.
Save is going to come from the north, but Miero is here, has the Chakram, has everything at his disposal. Last hit should go to GPK, and indeed it does. A really good rotation. Absolutely. Boxy, a little bit of a tough spot. There's 4 members here from BetBoom. He gets off the snowball, actually had the vision and the nice shard block off. But Timber Chain there from Miero. I'm not sure if he can chase this down. Chakram with the twisted Chakram on top, and Boxy. Nice sidestep. Gonna take a while. Chakram is gonna miss though. Another nice sidestep from Boxy. And Insania coming to watch his friend die, it seems, and it might cost him his life as well. Although there's a Wukong's command in the mid lane is GPK. Looks like Insanity is going to be able to TP out just fine.
Boxy could not have played that any better. That was actually just flawless spellcasting. Got the snowball as early as possible, got the perfect shard block, juked out a Chakram as well, and he still dies. It made him work for it, though.
Oh, yeah.
And the silver lining in a situation like that where you die as the Tusk is that you know at the very least other people are taking advantage of the space that you're creating. Every second Timbersaw is spending chasing the Tusk, well, he's not spending taking the top tower or forcing your Dragon Knight to jungle. So it's definitely a little bit of a silver lining there, but sometimes it's worth highlighting.
Holy banana slam jam. That is a lot of creeps. Those are some ridiculous stacks for BetBoom. See if Liquid are aware at all and try to invade, or if we're just going to see a huge cash injection for the BetBoom side.
Yeah, I wonder who they're going to give them to. Like I said, this is an insane Timbersaw game, so I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Miro getting priority over the Tiny. But this is, a lot of the time, this is a team comfort thing, where if you have an archetype way of playing, where you're like, okay, in our composition and the way we play the game, we like to get our carry nice and fat, or some teams really value the offlaner, such as a team like Tundra, who are not present in this tournament, but they will oftentimes give stacks to 33. Curious to see what BetBoom are going to do with a stand-in on the carry, right? If Pure was playing, I think generally speaking, they give stacks to Pure, more so than Miro. I personally would give the stacks to Timber this game. I think he's going to pop off.
Yep, that is a hero that will absolutely snowball hard. We've seen it so many times before. Another stack.
Yeah, they failed the Ancients, unfortunately, but they do get a... I think that's a... Is that a penta stack or a quad stack on the big camp? Either way, Miro will take that one. Let's see about the Ancients. Yeah, looks to be a double dip for him.
I love double dipping. Save's going to come to leech a little bit of XP as well, although are they actually going to commit to this? Still smoked up. Yeah.
Something to keep in mind here from a drafting perspective as well. Liquid is the one team, I would say, in the last couple of months that if there was any team in the world I would not give Nature's Prophet to, it's this team. But a really big part of what makes them so good with this hero is Mickey, and he isn't here.
True.
So I think BetBoom are actually choosing to give away Prophet specifically for that reason and trying to just use their knowledge as a bit of an edge in the first phase of the draft. And so far, so good. It's not because Nisha doesn't play a mean Prophet. He's very good at it, but it's very different if this hero is not on a carry player that's a true expert at it, like Mickey is, and the way Liquid play. But so far, we haven't seen much of Nisha this game.
Well, Save denies a rune. It might cost him his life, but the Wukong's command from the other side on GPK. Will we get the trade? So it's a 1-for-1 to start as Insanity just dies to the soldiers. GPK not able to pursue any further as Boxy will end up going past his ancient stack, which I believe Miara will just casually take here in a moment. Indeed, that is... Oh my god, Boxy almost died. Just to that alone. Miara wasn't even aware that he was there. Nice sidestep again. Chakram's up in just a moment. The whip. Not quite enough. A nice snowball, but V-Tune is here. He's going to be brought back as well. And Miara just casually takes out Boxy. Job done. Although the Dragon Tail comes out. Boxing applied to Kataomi. Brief Fire not going to finish him off. A nice whip onto 3 heroes. Uses the whoopee cushion as well. Kataomi getting slow just a bit.
Oh my, they have to ice blast him to kill him.
Yeah, will finish the job. Waste a lot of time though.
Space.
The stacks were taken in large part by BetBoom.
Yeah. They're building a really big lead here. This number doesn't necessarily look that scary at 13 minutes, but you're seeing how the heroes interact with each other. A lot of Liquid's net worth is obviously going to be on a very static, very slow Medusa. This hero does not really thrive in games where the enemy team starts running across the map a lot and starts making cross-lane plays. And guess what? Heroes like Timbersaw and Monkey King are some of the best in the business at that. Medusa is going to be stuck in one lane with her 310 move speed, and you can just play away from her, really. Just hunt her team. And if it does come down to a tower defense at some point, you know you've got the Wukong's command with the Diffusal Blade to take that fight. So I think BetBoom are in a very, very comfortable position here. And now the challenge for Liquid is unlock your Prophet. Like, how do you make consistently successful moves with Dragon Tail, with snowballs, and hitting Ice Blast so that Prophet can join and find kills? That's going to be the big question to answer here in the near future.
BKB is almost there for Miero. Just a recipe away, effectively.
Interesting choice that he opts to go for that first here. I actually was not expecting that. I think he could have rushed Axe. But
he's going to be spotted. Going to de-ward, though. Boxy gets hexed by save, and that is a lot of damage from Miero. TP is going to be canceled, and Insania will be left to his own devices. So 2 kills for BetBoom again, and both of which going to the Monkey King. So GPK has the Diffusal Blade. 4-0 start for him. And we're almost at the 15-minute mark, so pretty good timing for them to be able to get to the old Tormy.
Yep. Kiritich is already in position. He's going to need some serious help, though. Maybe they drop the Serpent Wards for this. Maybe they don't.
Oh, do you have a 4th member? Okay. Don't think that was needed, but
probably not.
They will take it, and Save will be rewarded for his sacrifice.
He gets the foul play.
Big cooldown.
The good old facet that was so good, or innate, excuse me, that was so good it was turned into a shard.
That's right.
I mean, it was upgraded a little bit too, but still. It's pretty crazy. So it'll be tougher not to crack with the 1.5 seconds of invincibility. Once on 1 health. And of course, you spawn 3 chickens instead of just transforming into the 1. And while you're transformed, you can use items, which is very interesting in some situations. Insania.
Well, this is not interesting. This is a support being caught out by 2 members of BetBoom. 7K lead already. That is astronomical at 16 minutes. Liquid starting off where they left off last DreamLeague. Last 10 DreamLeagues, feels like. They can turn this around. First Wheel of Wonder used, and that is going to be used to take out Boxy easily. GPK with yet another kill.
That is indeed the first Wheel of Wonder if you ignore the one he used previously. This was the first one.
That's the first Wheel of Wonder I've seen in this
game. You were
game.
definitely not paying attention, which is par for the course, but it's fine.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Nobody cares if the casters pay attention.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
It's the secret you gotta unlock in this industry. The sooner you realize, the better.
Yeah, that's how you make it in esports. Just stop caring so much. 8K lead for BetBoom, and what do Liquid have at their disposal? Anything coming soon that you think could potentially turn the tides? It's going to be a Mjolnir for V-Tune, so we'll have a lot of the attack speed.
I mean, the biggest problem I have for them is initiation, and there's nothing coming in that way, right? He's very far away from any sort of dagger on the Tusk, and Dragon Knight doesn't want to buy one because he needs to scale. So honestly, I kind of think Liquid are just caught in this awkward spot of running around trying to get farmed and big enough to take fights. But I think almost every single initiation we're about to see for the next 10-15 minutes is going to be BetBoom selecting a fight. So playing Dota like that is very difficult where you're only playing reactive, but I just don't really... I don't see the obvious way for them to set up fights unless they're relying on this some sort of Atos play from Saberlight to set up a Dragon Tail, but I think you're already digging kind of deep, so Liquid's way to come back in this is a strong counterplay. It's got to be it. Bait someone, land your spells.
Smoke from BetBoom. They got the Hex onto the Dragon Knight. TP's coming in, but he might be dead before it even comes. Indeed, that is the case. V-Tune dead just like that, but the big AA blast. Wheel of Wonder's used to try to counteract this as Kiritich able to get the toss-up onto Boxy. He will fall. The question is, how many members of Liquid will it cost? That's 2 so far. Boundless Strike from GPK. Gets off his ultimate as well with that Diffusal Blade in tow. That is a dead Medusa. Double kill for him again. Feels like he's had several of those already. And now Boxy, seemingly always the one trying to run away, will make it difficult on the side of BetBoom. Nice fake out on the Boundless Strike, and now they will ensure yet another kill goes their way.
Yeah, so that was an attempted counterplay from Liquid on initiation, kind of like it's expected, but it's just stupid hard, and that did not work out at all. If Dragon Knight is the primary target of the fight, I think Liquid are just running out of damage really, really quickly. And sure, AA, probably one of the highest damage output supports in the game, will net you 1 kill on the Tiny. It's going to cost him all of his friends in the process. Sacrifice certain villains are willing to make, but probably not Insania.
Yeah, this is going to get even worse for Liquid. If nothing changes, the lead will continue to grow as the map control continues to be on the side of BetBoom.
Yeah. I guess BetBoom don't have the best Rosh lineup, but they could drop Serpent Wards to take it, and that looks to be exactly what they're going to do here.
Oh, yeah.
It's decently fast if you do use the wards, and even if Liquid know this, it's very, very difficult to contest it without Dragon Form. And yeah, they're just uninterested. So this will be an Aegis going, I'm assuming the way of Kiritich here. Protect him from that Ice Blast. And I think it's time to hit some towers. I think you take mid-tier 1, you take top tier 2. Honestly, during this Aegis period, you could take every tower outside the base. Or you could hunt them.
Take Insania.
Yep.
It'll be an easy one. Not able to get off the Ice Blast.
That is one less voice in my head.
This game just looks too easy for BetBoom. I'll be honest.
Yep, very casual.
After the first, I want to say almost 5 minutes, they've just been more or less making every single move in the game. And Liquid seem to be a little bit hampered strategically here with the way the draft went down. Unable to find any sort of momentum on the map, find any sort of successes. Sometimes all it takes is one good fight to, you know, snowball into more, to build some morale, to get more kill hungry, and maybe stifle a little bit of the momentum the enemy team has. But I don't think BetBoom has met a single moment of regret in this game. Like, every move they've made has worked.
Yeah.
So that's when you feel really good about yourself. That's when you're going to keep just doing what you're doing. Everybody in the team is happy. They're all enabling each other. There's everybody scaling. Especially, I think, crazy to see just how far ahead Save is of the competition. He's higher net worth than the enemy supports combined. Minute 21
Yeah,
on Shadow Shaman of all heroes. So it's kind of unheard of. The guy's a master. So
he is indeed. BKB almost there for Nisha. So they're going to have double Mjolnir on the side of Liquid.
maybe BetBoom can kill themselves on that. Kind of need them to help you a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you do have two really tanky targets in theory in the Medusa and the Dragon Knight. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
Oh, Nisha going to steal the wisdom, but
Uh-oh.
is Save going to check for him? No, that was actually very close. Nisha went there late. He was 30 seconds late to this wisdom shrine, and if Save had been there 5 seconds earlier, that would have been a dead prophet. So close call. It does work out.
Kataomi in the tree line.
Oh, V-Tune could be in trouble here.
Boxy's here for a potential save, but we've seen this go awry many a time this game for the Liquid. They will exit.
Yeah, good read to not go for the wave. Just let the Mjolnir do it together with a Prophet ult. Push that out.
So still 2 tier 2s up on the side of Liquid. And we'll see what BetBoom can get out of this Aegis. They rely with the Meteor Hammer just to make sure that it works. Doesn't hit it, of course, but is he actually already going for a Rapier? Is that?
I mean, this combo on Tiny is just not possible to hit, right? He tried to go for the Atos into Hammer, but Tiny has insurmountable.
Oh, they know. Saved, spotted out. AA Blast going to be avoided thanks to the force that his GPK comes in, trying to get off the Wukong command, but the Walrus Punch was there. He's taking a lot of damage. GPK, finally the Wukong's came out with that extra armor, trying to fight his way out of it onto Boxy, but he drops. It's a trade, though. And now the Medusa Saberlight stuck in the wrong place, wrong time. Okay. I think they thought he was dead. Still alive, ladies and gentlemen. Finally will be taken out into, so 2 for 1. Technically in favor of BetBoom in terms of the numbers, as the Active Scepter already picked up by Miero. Very tanky. We'll have to pop the BKB. Will blow up to 0 damage as V2 pops the BKB as well, but they're not going to pursue any further. So a support and an offlaner for, I mean, GPK was on a huge streak, so this is why I was going to ask you, and I'd like to give GPK a hard time, but you give him the Aegis. I know that, all things considered equal, you would want to give it to the Tiny. I get it, but it's GPK. He's going to die, you know?
Yeah, I think that moment was avoidable. I think they maybe dove a little bit too aggressively, but the ultimate outcome, I think, is still completely fine on the side of BetBoom. But yeah, maybe one angle here is how likely are Liquid to kill the Tiny versus the Monkey King in terms of overall tankiness. I'm kind of with you. Maybe the MK would be a better choice this time around, but you still get when all is said and done, you get a 3 for 1 exchange, and on top of that, Liquid used 2 BKBs. the Prophet as well as the Dragon Knight. I think that was both of their 9 secondaries used effectively for absolutely nothing, trying to kill a Timber that they couldn't kill. So you're still very much in control. But it definitely could have been a little bit better. But we're at that level for BetBoom this game where we can nitpick because it's just going that well.
Yep.
So even small mistakes are going to look a little bit bigger than they actually are when you're this far ahead. Misha desperately trying to farm. He's trying to get out on the map somewhere safe. We do have the ward. Assuming that Misha would go here, and he's already dead. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take. And I'm going to say 3 seconds.
2, 1.
That's not how you
Close.
count to 3. But
What? It's effectively the same thing.
no, it's not. I thought you were going to say 2, 1, 3. I was waiting for like
What's wrong
good
with
old
you?
NA math.
What's wrong with you?
That.
Well, Department of Education is not there anymore, so everyone's IQ dropped. Blink dagger, that's how
It works retroactively. Your entire education's
Yeah, what if it was like a Dota patch, you know? Just society. Retroactive in every way.
If you were to patch the US, I don't think you would nerf intelligence, would you?
It's hard to nerf something that's already at 0, so.
Oh,
Got the
Ice
Ome.
Blast. Well, nobody's dying.
Yeah.
Just GT getting clipped here, as well as Miro. But that will be the spotlight. I found that this shard is most impactful at all in the pro meta right now against Terrorblade.
Yep.
He's not in this game. Not really too much use. It's a little bit of a mischance. It can be nice against, I guess, Dragon Knight and Prophet once the BKBs are down, but
How much vision? It gives decent vision, right?
yeah, it's okay. It's like it's a 275 radius. These lights are like flying around. It obviously it's never going to be bad to have a way of getting vision, but in particular the way of killing illusions seems really
Courier?
strong in some games.
Did it spot Insania? Oh my god.
Oh, that's so unlucky.
TP attack.
He'll get out.
Okay. What an escape.
Yeah.
Truly incredible.
The highlight of this game so far for Team Liquid.
Yeah, that's actually the genuine highlight reel. One thing.
Can't wait to see that in the post game.
Heritage leading the way in the mid lane. Saberlight. Still farming the triangle.
As Medusas do.
Yeah. Still a minute away from knowing about Rosh, so BetBoom's just gonna. Here we go. Nice replay.
Oh,
Spot of Insania. Man. Even in his old age, still has the muscle memory to realize what his 4-staff key is, and the TP as well.
That's insane, actually.
Just absurd.
And once Liquid end up winning this game, we'll come back to that moment. That's when it all began.
Yeah. They
That
just
was
need a
when things
little
turned around.
Just need a little reminder of what the good life is like.
Radiant's
You know?
middle tower is under attack.
They haven't remembered at DreamLeague recently.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been years.
Maybe Liquid's new DreamLeague strategy is start off as awful as possible so it can only get better throughout the group.
Wait, how has it worked before? Have they started off strong?
They've started off okay, but not good enough.
Oh, so you want the really bad and okay.
That's just, I don't know, man.
I mean, everything, it's a circle, right? Circle of life.
Yeah.
You know? You're probably closer to being good when you're really bad than if you're just mediocre. We'll go with that.
Yep. I was going to say that's an interesting... I don't know if that's interesting or just flat out wrong. That's just
Well,
wrong.
it could be both. Oh, Boxy gonna get clipped by the knife.
Yeah.
How many times have we watched Boxy try to run away from the
He'll
entirety
maybe
of
get...
that
Oh,
move?
that's a nice last arts there. Beautiful.
I like how you're actually using the proper
That's
names.
Omi. Oh, that honestly, that was really, really nice from Keto. Not only the impalement arts, but also the final whip just as the snowball connected on the creeps. That was beautifully done. And a well-deserved tip from Europe.
I heard you use Tame the Beast as well.
Yeah.
You don't think these are kind of long names for abilities?
Yeah, we should probably start calling it TTB.
Yeah, that sounds good.
TTB, EA, it's in the game, and then Impalement Arts, it's in the game.
How the hell do you know EA is in the game? How do you know that reference?
Because I played FIFA 99.
Wow.
That's right.
That is incredible. You actually know something that I didn't think that
That's
you
it.
would
That's
know.
the end of the sentence.
I'm genuinely shocked.
Why are you surprised I know something about video games? You're surprised we know something about pop culture and movies.
Because it's a sports game. Like, since when do you play any sports game?
FIFA 99, baby.
Yeah, 99. That was a good year.
I found a way to break that game, by the way. You would take the ball and you would run to the back line, you would wait there, and eventually the AI would tackle you from behind. You would beat them on red cards.
Oh, wow.
You could just keep walking. You could beat the hardest level AI by just camping the ball.
Well, Saberlight can try that tactic here to get out of dodge. Snowball's coming. GPK already with the BKB and the Wukong's command, draining the mana from Saberlight. Trying to heal up thanks to... Oh, actually lives thanks to the neutral item.
Why is GPK not chasing him? Okay.
Yeah, he's going to get shackled, but Mystic Snake gets the stun off. Saberlight, oh my goodness, deleted with the Boundless Strike.
Popped him.
18k lead now. Aegis on the side of the Tony again.
Yeah. This one's going to be used for high grounding, though, so this one makes a lot more sense to put on the Tiny in general. Yeah, as much as they try, Liquid just don't really have the damage, and they don't have the way to set the fights on their terms. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but every single fight is started on the back foot by default, and you have to counterplay, and you have to outmaneuver and land some clutch spell usages. It's just if you were to talk about this on a difficulty scale of execution here, I think for BetBoom, on a scale from 1 to 10, this game is at like a 3 in difficulty, and for Liquid it's like 9 in order to do anything.
But right now it's a 3?
Yeah. Probably.
You think so?
Maybe a 2. You know what? Maybe it's a 2. Okay. It is very easy, but it's not like totally free. Like a 1 would just be, okay, you're 40k up, you go high ground, and they can't fight you. You have a Medusa with Aegis that can't die. That's a 1, right? That's, yeah. Not that easy, but it is pretty straightforward, to be honest. For them. Save? Is he going to get eyes on Boxy? He will. And who's going to save the savior? Nisha's going to try.
He's here.
Good damage.
Going to continue.
Oh,
Snowball's coming to him, though, and GPK is actually going to get stunned on the tree, but comes back down to finish what they started. He's on another killing spree. Saberlight, he's going to get tossed up into the air, but he's quite tanky. The arrow. Speaking of tanky, that Aghanim Scepter. Kiritich jumps in pretty deep, but you can see the Dragonite completely isolated from his team as BKB's used from the side of BetBoom just to retreat for the time being. GPK is going to try to join the fight, and he does so successfully. And this might be the beginning of the end of Liquid in this game, although they do take out 1, and that's a big one in GPK, but it's going to cost them. 3 dead for Liquid. Force Staff onto Saberlight. Do they have the damage? And they really, without the Monkey King, this is a lot harder kill than it looks like. And it's a buyback onto Nisha as well. They really want to try to fight this out.
Just TP, lol.
Yeah, the TPs are pretty successful.
Oh,
the Kiritich
that's good.
Gets taken out along with Kataomi. So the buybacks came out from Liquid, and there's
the creep wave blocked.
The creep wave doing a really good job of blocking, and I think Kiritich has to try to fight his way out of this, but he's going to be surrounded by both trees and enemy members of the side of Liquid. So I'm actually really interested to see what the fight recap is here.
I think it's pretty even. The profit buyback is super expensive. So, yeah, pretty much. More or less dead even. XP even favoring BetBoom. So this wasn't really a win for Liquid. But for all intents and purposes with how this game is going, a draw is a really good result because it just buys you time to maybe get to a better opportunity to potentially win a fight down the stretch. But as you said, this was a good showcase of why Medusa is a good pick this game. Is once the Monkey King is out of the picture, Saberlight is more or less invincible against these heroes. But he's in the picture now.
Yeah.
Oh, they let him get his ult off.
Balance Strike misses. GPK. Okay. He's gonna get escapes art. EA it's in the game. Something. EA Sports is in the game. That's what was missing. Saberlight basically out of mana, but gets an injection all of a sudden. GPK has to walk away with the BKB. The Wheel of Honor not gonna do too much as Nisha jumping in, wants to take out Save. Will be able to do so. Well, unless that shard will save him. Not going to be the case this time. That's a buyback now onto the Rosas. Miero, he's going to go in deep. Absolutely blowing up Nisha. And like you said, dieback for him. TP's not going to happen on the side of Liquid. And this is surround tactics now. On to El Saberlighto, who's also brought to his knees.
There should be minimum 1 lane of racks, right? Liquid cannot fight without their profit. You're just going to go straight down mid here. You have 5 heroes, nice and healthy. You have enough mana on the Timber Saw to try to fight if you want. He's got the fresh Hex picked up, so you have multiple ways of opening fights if you connect. I don't mind this from Liquid, though, that they're trying to press the issue a little bit because they kind of have to look for a moment of opportunity, but that went pretty badly in spite of BetBoom kind of just botching the opening. They just missed on Medusa, right? They didn't get a Shaman combo off, the Boundless missed. They wasted their Wukong, and they still won. And here we are. At the high ground, Glyph will be forced, but the next wave is coming in, so this is only buying the few seconds.
Miro, he's going in pretty deep. Wants to take out the AA, but Insania gets a decent amount of distance. And Miro will be stunned out. Nice cancel of the Timber Chain, although Boxy might cost him his life. Save is here as well, but close enough to the fountain to get away. I mean, either way, though, this is just one lane because the tier 2s are still up, top and bottom.
Bottom tier 2 is definitely going to fall here as well. Kiritich take care of this very quickly. And then, I suppose if you wanted to think about it, Tormentor number 3 won't be too far away. The 35-minute mark is approaching, so you can get both wisdoms. Wow, they're actually yielding here. This is very surprising. Like, Prophet's dead for another 20. And you do have Wukong's command. I don't think Liquid were going to be able to execute this defense, but they were trying for it. So honestly, credit to BetBoom for making the read. But I don't think this was a fight they were going to lose personally. But maybe they just think, we're going to get this later anyway.
He's going to tank the gank, the shard.
He can
we'll keep him alive a little bit longer.
Nice
Miro coming in very nicely. That's a lot of damage being applied through. They're going to lose the roster, though, so it's 5v4 advantage Liquid as the AA blast coming in. But look at that damage from Kiritich. It actually blows up Boxy. Ishtar's actually blocking off the Dragon Knight a little bit. He's trying to focus down the Ringmaster. In the meantime, GPK from the right side gets a beautiful balance strike onto 2 with the Wukong's command as well. But 3 dead already for BetBoom. And GPK, he's going to be surrounded 1 versus 4. Did he try to TP out there? Nisha is going to get bashed. He's going to get taken out. And he gets to the high ground. Will live. And actually, that's 4 dead for BetBoom now. As GPK dies again. How did Nisha survive? And Liquid, have they found an opening here, Cinderin?
Ironically for BetBoom, not pushing might have actually cost them there, because that, if they had pushed that tower, I think Liquid would have given them the fight a little bit earlier before Prophet was available. Now instead, they are the ones to make the move with all 5 heroes intact, and they get the jump on you surprisingly out in the open there. Damn. Okay, well,
we may have a game.
I'll be honest, I thought this was more or less a foregone conclusion, but
when GPK's in the game, anything's possible, Cinderin.
That's your angle as usual, yes. Glyph is available. This wave will be taken out, but there is another one connecting very soon. So I think Backdoor won't even kick in for a single second here. Ice Blast.
Oh, wow.
Just going to clip the supports, keep them at bay here. Kataomi was not moving his hero, though, so it didn't hit him.
The AFK feature actually helped him here. Spotlight placed.
Should that be off in lobbies?
That's a good question.
It's kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that matter before.
They were like, and try to finish off this Rax. He will do so.
Okay.
1 lane for 1 lane.
All right. Would you look at that win probability graph? It's been a while since I've seen this. This is some Six Flags stuff right here. These are some, honestly, this is probably outside of regulation. This one probably wouldn't pass for construction, but that's a deep dip right there. All of a sudden, Gaben favoring Liquid. I don't, but we have different tastes in lineups.
It certainly is doable, though, for Liquid.
It definitely is doable. And man, okay, if they were to win this game, that's a really good start to be able to, like, you enter a tournament, things are looking awful, and you recover a game 1 like that. Like that shows good fortitude and a good, like, it's a very, sets a good precedent for the rest of your tournament if you're able to win a game like this, where a lot of the time you start off slow, you just kind of crumble, right? Like, things aren't clicking yet, you need to warm up.
I thought you said the worse they are, the better chance they'll have it being good.
Well, there you go. They were not great in the first half.
Yeah, but we didn't think about the possibility of all it being in 1 game.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Very cool, Cinder. Yeah. You truly foresaw this.
Yeah, you did too when you said it's better to be really bad than okay.
That's right.
That's
works
wise
in the NBA
words
as well.
Yeah.
You get a good lottery pick unless you're the Suns and you give up everything for the next 20 years.
That's because they have rubber banding, though. That's different.
Yeah, sure.
We need that in Dota again. I think that patch was...
that was...
Oh my god, that was
That was something else.
Never again.
Smoke from BetBoom. Not going to connect yet. Looks like they've found a new path into the Liquid side. And they're going to show on the creep wave as Boxy going to tank it potentially. Blinks away, though.
Well done. And they do have the ward set up here. This is how you want to play this kind of situation as Liquid. You want to send out Boxy to try to break smoke and blink out and just get information so that your cores don't get jumped, and then you can build a fight out of it. Miro invincible here.
Yes, he is. How much do they care about this Ags on Miero? Like, is it worth buying a Dispel?
I mean, the question is who would?
Yeah. Like, Nullifier, not really the heroes that would want to buy it necessarily.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not great, is it? I guess you could technically buy a Yules on a support, but the problem is AA is a lot of the fight not going to be in range. And Tusk wants to get this BKB. I think it's just a better purchase. He needs to reliably be able to play fights, navigate them, get all his spells off. Yeah. So, yeah, I just think this is a good situation for Timber in general, and you just have to accept that there's going to be an Axe in the fight, try to kill other heroes while he's going to work, try to kite.
Rosh will be up in 20.
Really good timing here for Liquid.
Yeah, Wukong's command on top of the Medusa
with
the Serpent Wards
nowhere.
as well. A blast coming, but an instant hex onto the Tusk, so no save for him. It's already 2 dead for Liquid. That's a buyback now for Boxy, but Saberlight does not have one, so I think this Rosh just goes to BetBoom now. They'll have to wait for him to traverse to the other side of the map.
And in a vacuum, would this Rosh even have worked? Like, would they have killed it in time before it started moving? I'm not so sure here, Liquid. They had to go over and help Saberlight, but they were cutting that close on the 40-minute mark regardless. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure I get the strategic plan there of going with 4 and then full on just placing your Medusa in the middle of the map where she's the most exposed possible. If you're doing it as a bait to get the Rosh, I mean, fair enough, but you didn't because you went to help her as well. It just felt uncoordinated, and that's a costly mistake in a game that you kind of just recovered a bit. Now you're facing massive disadvantage once more. Kiritich with another Aegis. They've got a refresher for Monkey King, which is big. And they even have the cheese to boot on Tiny if he wants to use both of them.
Yeah, of course. We forgot to mention these Treants, level 25.
Yep.
I think we've talked about this maybe in the last 3 or 4 patches. Do you think this will be nerfed? Because I don't think so anymore.
I think it will.
You think so?
I think it will. Okay, this is with. I think this is the ability I have the most confidence in getting a rework, actually.
A rework?
In the entire game. I think this will be reworked.
Okay, so why,
this talent.
If that were the case, why wouldn't they have nerfed it already in the last, like, 3 letter patches?
I have that question about multiple heroes right now. So why does TA still get to be the way she is also, you know, a pressing question many have on their minds. Yeah. But this is dumb. I have no better word for it.
I think the reason they haven't nerfed it is because they want people to buy more Daggons. Because everyone loves watching Daggons.
I think Nature's Prophet has a lot of different cosmetics as well.
That's true.
You know, if that's a good hero to sell sets on. And the Treants have custom...
Yeah, but he doesn't have an Arcana or anything.
No, but there's like custom Treants. You can buy an extremely ugly looking tomato.
Yeah, that thing's very blurst. This one is also nightmarish, but not in a disgusting way, you know? It's like appropriately themed.
Yeah.
Something you'd see in a horror movie.
That's right. It's very fitting for Nature's Prophet. Kind of is a horrible hero to play against late game. He's going to have 2 Treants now up top in a moment, and BetBoom, yep, they're going to give up their push because Nature's Prophet can press a button and push faster than Tiny. All right, he's in trouble, though. Good catch.
Nisha going to get some help from Boxy. Nice Walrus Punch using the BKB. GPK ends up using the Boundless Strike Shard, but the TP is out successfully. Boxy will be the sacrifice. At the very least for Liquid, they save a core. Yeah, and meanwhile, this is the real core, of course.
Damn it. Like,
they're 3-shot range racks.
You cannot tell me this is okay. Like,
who says it's okay other than Valve? No, nobody. Everyone agrees with you, Cinderin. This is what's going to win the game for Liquid.
This is every time I see this, this makes me a little sick, actually, that this is still there. I can't, man. I can't.
What kind of sickness would you describe it as?
What's the opposite of Schadenfreude? What is it when you feel sorry for someone?
Pity?
Isn't there like a heavier word than that? Where it's like, man, they do not deserve this.
Disdain?
Disdain. That's a good word. Yeah.
Look at that.
That's my feeling. I just feel
Heritage can
bad.
barely
I feel
deal with
bad
it.
for the team at Pro Dota that has to deal with a tree. I just feel bad for them. It's like, it's just stupid.
Look at
like,
this.
look at this. 4 attacks.
2, 3, 4. Incredible gameplay.
And the ironic thing there is the main thing Liquid are trying to do right now is outlast the Aegis, and the one way you do that in this game is by pushing with Prophet, because you're posing such a massive threat that the enemy team has to rotate multiple heroes. You keep the Tusk with the Prophet as get out of jail free card. You just protect him whenever he gets jumped, and then while they're trying to kill your Tusk or your Prophet, he's taking the racks. So you're facing these multiple problems at the same time as BetBoom that you have to deal with. It's not easy. On a macro level, this is another part of the reason why Liquid are so good when they have this hero, is they truly understand when they get to this game state how to manipulate the map in your favor, even when you're behind, and just play for that Prophet win condition. So you can tell right now, BetBoom are hesitant. They kind of want to go high ground, but all right.
Oh, they're going to get the Abyssal Blade, the initiation, but they instant hex again onto Boxy. AA Blast is coming. He's going to hit basically everyone, but that's 2 dead already for Liquid. No way to get back in the game either. So now it's just about resetting. As Nisha is in really deep. He's going to get back mid TP. He is surrounded. Boundless Strike can apply a lot of pressure as well as Nisha. Well, he gets the Aegis, but it's going to cost him his life. He does have buyback this time, but look at that. Vtoon caught off guard again. Onto the low ground, gets tossed back into the fray. Completely surrounded, but he has the ability to get back to the high ground. Boundless Strike, not going to hit, but still the buildings will melt here. Of course, the NP can get back in. Might have to do that right here, as that Avalanche is going to do so much work. And CNA gets 3-shot. Now the buildings will follow suit. Buys back, though. Has his Ice Blast as well. You can see Roshan's banner placed, so now the creeps will not be going anywhere. This is going to be a second lane in favor of BetBoom.
Yeah. In the meantime, one little boy did take the top melee racks.
Oh.
For Team Liquid, so it is a 2-for-2 on the racks, but the buybacks are big.
Yeah.
They're going to commit here. BetBoom are kind of all in with the Shaman buyback, too. They just want to try to push an end.
Ice Blast. Not going to really hit anything. It's going to clip Kiritich as he's going to get a beautiful stun into the Dragon. He's taking a massive amount of damage. GPK deletes him. Does have buyback here, though.
They'll get Kiritich, I
Wukong's
think.
command is placed, but on the outskirts is the Tusk. He's going to get taken on in turn. The buyback from the Tiny now. They were able to take out one from Liquid's side, as the Ringmaster is going to take out eventually once Vtoon is unhexed, and in case indeed that is the case. You see the Tiny trying to defend his base as Miero and company. They're going to have to back away, so mission was not successful here for BetBoom. As GPK on the tree line. They spot him here. He's going to actually jump on top of Vtoon. Trying to apply some pressures. The Wheel of Wonder not going to do too much. Boundless Strike finally going to be used. Not going to use the shard to get into better play, though, as GPK focusing all his efforts onto this Vtoon kill. He's taking no damage, though. GPK, he's Ice Blasted. He's taken out. He's dead. Buys back instantly. You have to be careful with their base as well. It did create a little bit of space, and that's a lot of burst damage from Miero on top of this Dragon Knight. Double kill for him as save. He's going to live thanks to the escape arts. And now the instant toss, the triple toss, the deletion of Saberlight. And surely that's going to do it. Ancient is exposed, only one member up for Liquid, and GG is called. It started out as an absolute mega stomp and somehow turned into a pretty exciting finish.
Damn, this became a 47-minute game.
It's a 2-game series, so the series will end after this game unless the rules are changed in the middle of it, which I think is an unprecedented thing. So I think it's safe to say the series will end here, Cinderin.
Yes.
Do you agree with the panel? I wasn't listening at all, personally. Did you listen at all?
I did, and I would agree. I kind of... Oh, hang on. No, we're good. Okay.
Are we? Because Vtoon is dead. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Yes.
he actually is.
He is dead.
Last shot from Katomi. Oh, great start for BetBoom.
How do you like the Wraith King this game?
They got 3 bounty runes on the kill. Yeah, so so like the panel was saying, they seem to be pretty much in agreement at least. They slightly favored BetBoom based on draft, but they think Liquid got off to a better one this game than the last one. But, well, there's a lot more to wish for. Oh, that is
the miss. It's not really going to matter here. Surely he gets run down eventually.
Why are they both chasing
Whoopee cushion, because it just feels good.
Anyway.
I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid.
That is a good voice line. I like that.
All right, so 2 kills already for BetBoom.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I like BetBoom a bit better here as well for mainly the reasons that Misery was bringing up about...
Oh, I thought it's because they have 2 kills.
Well, that's also good.
Okay.
I think the mid lane matchup, the Tiny versus Pango, is actually very good for Pango. This lane usually ends up in somewhat of a draw, but Pango activates faster. And I'm looking at a lineup for Liquid that I'm a little bit unsure where the plays are going to be coming from except the Tiny. Like, yeah, you have stuns with Fissure, you have stun from Wraith King, but these are not, like, strong mobile heroes that are going to make moves very much. But at the very least, they find a kill up here with Vtoon plus Insania onto save, so that's good news for the Liquid side here. I'm not a particularly big believer in carry Wraith King on a pro level. I like the hero more as an offlaner in concept, and I wonder why they chose to do it this way instead of vice versa, since they have that and Terrorblade that are interchangeable. I think
They
Wraith
have
King...
the specialist syndrome.
That's right. That's probably the reason, honestly, that Vtoon was just like, I want to play Wraith King this game. Peace be with that. It's one of the best carries against Magnus in the sense that you can outlast RP because you have 2 lives.
How do you think it feels to sub for a team and you lose game 1? I'm not saying it's your fault necessarily. I say you as if it's you, Synderen, but you lose game 1 and then game 2 you make them pick your hero and you die before the laning stage.
Well, if you did feel bad about it, Insania just walked into the same trap immediately after. So, you know, by
showing full support.
By comparison, I think Insania's mistake is probably bigger, honestly, if that makes Vtoon, if that's a little bit of a silver lining here. How does it feel? I think he's pretty confident in his ability, honestly. Yeah, like, kills like that will happen.
And Insania looks to be dead here, thanks to quite the combo that BetBoom have working with them. Shackle into an eventual skewer.
Is good, for sure. And another good a head start for BetBoom. Similar to game 1, they come out the gates the best. I think my biggest worry for Liquid is minute 10 to 20. It's like, how are you going to play the map? Your supports are Silence or Shaker. These heroes inherently do not do that much damage and don't offer the best setup, with the exception of some nice Fissure blocks. But what heroes are you blocking? Abaddon's going to have ults. Pango can jump across it, and Magnus can skewer across it. So the amount of plays that are inherently obvious for Boxy is very limited, which puts a lot of pressure in my mind on Nisha to get stuff done, because once again, I'm not a big believer that Wraith King is going to really pull his weight until later in the game. So that stage will be tough, while BetBoom is going to ramp up the aggression with their Pango running around the map with Shaman, with their Magnus looking for potential Blink Skewer plays all around the map. And yeah, you'll feel confident going for them too, because the counterplay from Liquid's not that easy to pull off. Shackle?
They're not going to turn this into any follow-up, like you said. Insania, even if he was there, can't really provide that much yet.
No.
Especially with the level advantage being the way it is for BetBoom. Boxy already roaming a bit. He's going to ensure that the water rune, he's being able to deny it of sorts by taking it himself.
Head back grab the other one. Yeah, this will send GPK back to base. That's pretty big. It's good news for Liquid. GPK was starting to pull a little bit ahead of Nisha in the mid lane on the Pango versus Tiny matchup, but now that he has to retreat, Nisha with a full bar of resources should be able to get ahead now. Oh, Vtoon summoned the skeletons, but couldn't get the stun off on save.
Yep, has no mana. He's going to get skewered out. And it's going to take a shock to his system as Miro actually has to walk away because the skeletons are going to finish him off if he's not careful. But Save, as we see, does get the last hit onto Vtoon. It will be a trade. One int goes the way of Insania. So 1-for-1 trade, but obviously if you're Liquid, you're still not going to feel too good about it. And in this bot lane, Saberlight with that meta, apply a good amount of pressure to Kiritich. Ooh, quite a bit, in fact. Have the level 1 Aphotic Shield applied. TP coming in from Save, though. And get the Ether Shock. I'm going to try to focus on Boxy, who's next to this tower. Going to take a couple pop shots that will likely result in his demise. In the tree line he goes, but one more right click will suffice. Gets off the Fissure, but the whip is enough from Kataomi.
Damn, Save was really adamant about conserving resources and cooldowns there. Not using anything on the Shaker the entire time with a full mana bar. Just ends up being Kataomi to finish it with the Tame the Beast and effectively running out of resources himself now. Oh, he has 11 on the wand. He's actually going to be okay. Now, what's Save going to do with this? So now we make this TP rotation. We're closing in on minute 6. There's going to be the first power rune of the game. Looks like he will try to contest for the bottom one. Boxy will be happy to meet him there, potentially with a little bit of a tiny combo. can GPK break 6 before the rune? He cannot. So this will be no Pango ult fight if it were to break out. A lot of heroes here.
Oh, yeah.
I just got 6, actually.
Clip
just
one.
now.
GPK, like you said, Rolling Thunder at the ready. Gonna stun 2 members of Liquid. Actually gets stuck a little bit here, so a little awkward from BetBoom. Not gonna apply any pressure to Nisha. Instead, gonna try to take out the Earthshaker. Instead, a big swashable comes out, as well as a shield crash. That's 1 dead. Will be the trade for the Rasta again. A whip this time into Onsania. And GPK not able to really finish the job here. Kind of an awkward engagement from both sides.
Yeah.
But ends up resulting in a support for support.
It's always fun to see Pango against Shaker. It makes for some interesting moments with, you know, you have like your muscle memory of how you're rolling, and then there's a fissure kind of in the way, and can get a little bit dicey. Oh, Insania. He's not going to outlive this.
Yeah, he might deny himself, though.
He's trying, but GPK patient.
As bottom lane,
Kill Saberlight too.
Again, pretty good start for BetBoom. 8-3 advantage. It's only a 1K lead, though. But when it comes to the mid game, are you expecting a super aggressive build from the Wraith King?
No, I think it's just going to go standard
Farm mode?
Armlet Radiance. I think this is a patch where if you have a hero that can buy Radiance, you generally should. Most of the time. Last game we saw it on Medusa. I guess technically Monkey King could have bought it last game, but like, come on, it was a mid-Monkey against Dusa, right? You're just going to buy Diffusal that game. But there's a lot of heroes that are capable of buying Radiance, and the item's in a good place right now. So if you can get your hands on it, you're happy to do so. I also think it's very worrisome to go for, let's say, Armlet Deso or whatever on Wraith King, because there's a lot of lockdown and general issues in the fight. So I think you're actively going to do less damage with that build than with Radiance, where you're at least doing passive damage while you're stunned by Shaman, while you're being controlled by Ringmaster, getting skewered around the place, getting slowed down. All these potential issues.
Sania spots Kataomi. And Kiritich is there to aphotic shield off any debuff. Foxy posturing a bit, but doesn't look like there'll be an engagement. VTune showing off the best taunt in Dota as the RP comes out from the air. This is a solo RP into the arms of 2 more members of BetBoom.
He can skill his ult here, he will.
So he will eventually come back to life, but the Rolling Thunder from GPK, double shield crash as well. Earthshaker's actually going to cancel the TP, and that means they are going to have to give up this death on the VTune. So if he knew this was going to happen, would he have skilled his ult there, Cinderin?
No. I don't think so. I don't. Trading that for Pango is terrible. Yeah. The Wraith King ulti is super long cooldown. Now it isn't the old 3-minute. Obviously, reincarnation has been changed quite a bit over the years. Now it goes from 3 minutes to 2 minutes between level 1 and 3. It used to be going from 5 minutes to 40 seconds, I think. That's pretty ridiculous. Katsuomi getting caught. A sandwich with the fissure. But Liquid have good control of the Radiant bottom side jungle right now, which is very good news for an offlane Terrorblade. You take good advantage of all this farming pace, or this area, because you have the Conjure image, which he is maxing out as the offlane TP here. It's maximizing that farm, going for an Orchid rush to try to combat the Pango as well as Magnus plays, but there is the Aphotic Shield that you're going to have to deal with the entire game as well. So it's a little bit of the classic, is the bottle half full or half empty? Generally, you say that with a glass, but today it's a bottle, apparently. I like Saberlight's idea to itemize for a good aggressive fight. Because I think if you have enough utility coming from your offlane Terrorblade, you do have the damage. And Orchid can definitely have a big impact on this game.
Yes, GPK not able to get the rune here. Boxy will be taking the arcane. Nisha might not be too happy about that.
Angry with that.
Yes, he is. Fissure can actually isolate the Tiny a bit, as the Rolling Thunder is going to be used to full effect. Actually puts him on the other side, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. Kiritich ends up netting himself a very valuable kill for BetBoom. And BetBoom now grouping up to likely take out this tier 1 tower. They have the siege. Now, let's see if they actually want to fully commit or not. Fox is going to show himself, gets a fissure onto 2. Swashbuckle already used from GPK.
Damn, he's
the
in
shield
there.
crash as
He's
well.
calling the bluff.
Yeah, Boxy's dead. Insania, the only member of Liquid in the vicinity, so we're not going to be too scared, although I say that.
Also dying.
2 TPs here. Like you said, Saberlight getting taken out by Kiritich in the meanwhile. Nero. They have the toss from Nisha, but was tossed on a teammate, and GPK trying to get into the pit for a little bit of extra maneuverability. Not going to be the case, though. So a kill finally going the way of Liquid in this very long and awkward engagement. Miero, no skewer for 8 seconds, so he's going to be food for Vtoon.
When all is said and done, these couple of kills for Liquid, obviously great news. They needed to get something going here, and it will be Tiny involved in a lot of the action, which should be a somewhat imminent dagger for Nisha. That is the item of the game for Team Liquid to look forward to. Now, RP was unused in that entire sequence, so if BetBoom were to look for something, they might just find it, and they might just do it without him. Nisha.
Yep, Wheel of Wonder forces him to look the other way, and that is really weird as Nisha. Is he actually just going to walk away from this? You know, another big swash, but a beautiful avalanche to keep them back. And yeah, Nisha will actually get away as a result.
Wow, that was super awkward.
I mean, anytime we see Fissure, like you talked about with the Rolling Thunder, weird things can happen.
Radiance
Nisha getting a little greedy with this last camp here, but will pay off. Fortification pop, but this tower will be going the way of BetBoom, one way or another. Will actually end up being a deny for Boxy, though.
Not bad.
He's only like 400 away from Blink, so not too shabby on the Earthshaker. But like you talked about, looks like Orchid is first on the list for Saberlight. Stack's not nearly as fearsome as last time around for BetBoom.
This is a peculiar move coming this way from Liquid. They're going to smoke up Silencer, Tiny only, and walk up the high ground. They have Global, but they don't have Blink. So, kind of just... I'm not really sure what the idea is here. Just forcing a connection onto a Wraith King, perhaps, but... This is a Magnus with almost Crimson Guard. Tough target. Nero. And that's the play. All right.
Yep,
that did not really work.
Very exciting gameplay there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with the move itself. I'm surprised they did it with 200 for the Blink for Nisha. That feels like the item that unlocks the play that they just went for. Or when he has that, they can go in, they can Blink, toss someone back, they can Global, kill that guy, and then reassess the situation. But without the dagger, guess what? BetBoom just walk it off.
Yeah, well, within a couple minutes, they will have 2 Blinks.
Yep.
By a couple minutes, I mean the next 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, the Shaker one is... Honestly, this is really good timing for Boxy. 14-minute Blink when you have 3 deaths is very admirable. Of course, he doesn't have Arcanes. He only went the Brown Boot Sage Mask, but...
Yeah, and I believe they got vision of him there with that knife, so they should know that he has a Blink now as well.
I think it was before the courier arrived.
Oh, okay.
So this could still be a surprise if they smoked. Oh, okay. Well, he Blink fissured and didn't hit, but they might not have seen the Blink still.
True.
Because he fissured from, I think that was Radiant Fog?
And we're getting close to the 15-minute mark, which we know, of course, is Tormentor. It's Boxy. Now he will officially show that Blink dagger. We're going to double team save right now. Nobody really in the vicinity, so it will be a kill for Liquid. And it's 30 seconds without Rasta. Let's see if they try to go for... I mean, who has a better fight right now, you think, in the... I was going to say the pit, the Tormy area.
Both teams are actually pretty good at fighting for objectives. One side with the Pango roll and RP, but the other one, fissures can be awkward in those spots. Terrorblade actually fights very well around the sides of the map. Wraith King is one of the best heroes in the core role to do it too, because he can just give free vision. You just walk in. So I don't really have a clear favorite. It's really about who gets the jump, because the good news for Liquid is if they ever initiate, they can pop Global and kill a guy. If BetBoom get the initiation and it's not on Silencer, it's not as clear-cut that you're going to win the follow-up fight. If Liquid are in a good position to get your support spells off, both supports are very good defensively. So I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Liquid force the Tormentor actually and leverage their Terrorblade for this, but doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. They're headed up top. Now, who's closest to Radiance? That is Abaddon by a landslide because Wraith King, of course, went the armlet. So BetBoom will have a little bit of a window there as well with the Radiance advantage.
Oh, Echo Slam onto the Pango with Saberlight doing a ton of damage with that meta, using that Orchid as well.
There you go.
Big kill.
This should be Tormentor, I think. V-Tune heading up toward the gate. Yep, they're going. It's a very high impact play here. Good find from Boxy. And this is just going to be conceded now for BetBoom. So we can theorize all we want about who has the better fight. What if there's no fight? Brain drain for Insania. A little bit unfortunate. Way rather have the Shaker one, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
In spite of, obviously, the nerfs it received a couple years back, it still is a very nice shard to have. It's a feels good one. Helps you farm. It helps you lock heroes down during fights a little bit better. Gives you more options when your dagger is cancelled, which could very well happen multiple times this game against, in particular, a hero like Pango. It's actually super annoying.
Yarrow.
Nice
the
global.
RP is canceled thanks to the global. It's going to be a full backup here from BetBoom.
Oh, this is awkward, man.
Crimson Guard applied. He's not too scared. And now with no global silence, and this Radiance is there as well as Boxies gets deleted by GPK. And now we see the Rolling Thunder on Tanisha. Actually cancels it pretty quickly. And Avalanche gives him a lot of space and he's just going to blink out. Lots of cooldowns. And all results in 1 kill.
Yep. This is pretty good. Pretty good news for Liquid. This was the timing of the game that I thought was going to be worrisome for them. They're
I have to say, with that
bridging the gap quite
really
well.
bad start from V-Tune, he's top of the net worth right now. Obviously,
Yep.
he has a lot of help with the Skellies. But still, I was not expecting to be top net worth at 18 minutes based on that start.
It's kind of interesting to see how the net worths develop now in the next period of time with Abaddon having Radiance, because you would think inherently Wraith King does have a farm advantage until that point. Like you said, he has the skeleton, so he can farm both that plus a lane at the same time or whatever. Now that Abaddon has Radiance, he really picks up the farming pace, but conversely, Wraith King is getting his in a few hundred gold, so maybe V-Tune can just stay ahead. And I wonder if this choice from Nero is going to come back to bite them of getting the Crimson Guard as the first item instead of a Blink. Because it does seem like BetBoom are struggling a little bit when they see heroes of accessing the fights in the ways that they want. And he'll be going Blink second, but it's going to be a while before he gets there. And force Rosh. Unfortunately for BetBoom, 2 of the Serpent Wards got killed first. Maybe placed them a little bit too early. But Liquid not in the neighborhood at all. So
Do you still buy Blink on position 1 Abby?
I think most of the time, if you want reach, you get Harpoon.
Radiant's bottom tower
But you
under
definitely
attack.
can buy Blink. I wouldn't mind it here if you can play your hero as almost a Shaker counter, in a way, by getting Dagger. Like you just blink into the back line and Radiance him out of the fight.
Yeah.
That could be an interesting way of enabling your teammates.
Radiant
That's Omi.
attack.
Yeah, Orchid applied. That should provide enough time to clean him up. Indeed, that is the case. Liquid with the numbers. Now they see a little bit of an ancient stack,
Middle tower has
which they will gladly take for themselves.
Took the mid tier 1, and now they're going to take the top tier 1. A strong power play here, in spite of being down in Aegis. They are the ones making the moves. And if last game is anything to go by, BetBoom had a big lead and almost dropped that game. This time around, now they're playing on the back foot in the mid game. So we'll have to see them from a completely different perspective here in the second game.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They can pull this back. Now, GPK is only 100 away from Ag, so that's good news for them. And they get the Magnus Blink. This was probably the timing that they were waiting for. These 2 items combining and then getting to work. I don't think you wait for Kiritich to get Manta before you get involved now. I think it's going to take too long. You want to use your Aegis. You want to try to take a fight. It's going to be brought to you, it seems. Miero.
Yep, Orchid there again, but save is here. And of course that Crimson is going to buy a lot of time. And Nisha actually gets Serpent Ward trapped. Wheel of Wonder now onto the Terrorblade. There's a big RP onto 2.
That's
Global
late
Silence
global.
a little late. The Rolling
It
Thunder
still
is
worked,
already
though.
placed, but Saberlight able to stay alive thanks to the Sunder. And now Liquid trying to turn this around, but a big swashbuckle comes out, and that is a dead Nisha. Saberlight follows suit. So despite it being kind of a back and forth now, firmly in favor of BetBoom as the Echo Slam comes out, and that is enough to eventually take out Kiritich. 3 dead though for Liquid. They're going to be able to take out the Rasta in tow. Miera with the skewer. That is life number 1 for Vtoon. He will tick out the Magnus with the Radiance. And now Vtoon versus GPK as Katayomi gets deleted by Boxy, and this is 1 by 1 they fall. Now GPK in a 1 versus 2. Shield crash in 1 second. They get the Aegis.
Not enough mana for Fissure.
Using the Horsey. Has Shield Crash again and the Swash, so miss times that a bit as Boxy's there with the Enchant Totem, but he gets to the high ground in time. Uses the Fusel Blade, but he's going to get run down eventually. Big kill for Liquid, and that's a full team wipe effectively.
Radiant's top tower
Cost them a lot, but that was a really back and forth fight.
Getting a ton of value out of the Wraith King in this fight in particular. Just Vtoon.
middle tower
Able to
is
do
under
so
attack.
much damage. He dwarfed everyone. He did 8.3k. The second highest of that fight was actually Boxy with 4.2. So your mid Tiny did almost nothing and died. And you still won that. That's a very good look for Liquid. And of course, a big part of the success in that fight is getting off the global from Insania and finding the Sunder, so Saberlight has 2 health bars there.
Radiant's bottom
Because BetBoom
tower
had to
is
use
under
so many
attack.
resources to kill the Terrorblade, and they kind of have to. You can't not account for this hero in a fight. You have to make him a priority in spite of him just being an offlaner. The hero just does so much damage per net worth and has the Orchid that is causing you issues, so don't blame them for picking that as their primary target. What a nice turnaround play from the side of Liquid there.
Oh, Boxy spotted. Able to get... Oh, he actually gets stuck in the trees. That's a unfortunate spot
darts.
for him. Eventually taken out by BetBoom. Good attempt, though, from
Radiant's
Boxy.
middle tower is under attack.
And with BetBoom, despite losing that fight, it wasn't...
Dire's bottom tower.
They did take a lot of members beforehand, so... Still a very close game, I feel like, even though it's a 4K lead for Liquid at the moment.
Dire's
Yeah.
Tier 1
bottom
taken out in the
tower
bot lane. And this shard for GPK should be coming. Actually, redirects this into a blink instead.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a lot less of a one-sided affair than the first one. Now, definitely both lineups have the potential to just snowball completely from a one fight. I would say both lineups push pretty quickly. One side has Terrorblade Wraith King, the other side has potential Serpent Wards plus Abaddon. Once Abaddon has enough items. Sure, you don't push as fast as when Curse of Avernus did damage to towers, but still get, you know, good attack speed when you push. You hit very, very hard by virtue of being a universal hero. But it'll take a while before any high ground gets attempted from either team. You would imagine you're going to fight over the next Tormentor, or maybe Liquid pull one on them again. They find a Pickoff and just grab it. I think BetBoom this time around will be more interested in maybe taking some precautionary measures in the bottom half of the map.
Yep, smoke doesn't really materialize into too much other than some warding. Save is spotted in the bot lane, and well, a little awkward there, but they'll find him eventually.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Nisha will get credit for that. As Insania, he's spotted, actually uses the global. It's not going to save his own life. And now probably regretting the choice.
Yeah, that's not a good global.
That does not look good.
Oh, that's right.
If Liquid were just a little closer, they could have maybe taken advantage, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's a couple seconds away.
that's probably why he globals there, right? He's kind of
Dire's middle tower
optimistic
is under
that it
attack.
can lead to some sort of follow-through from his team. He knows he won't be able to buyback global in that situation, but not nearby enough on the rest of their side. Air of fishing here. He will actually connect.
Yeah,
The Yule from
RP.
Nisha, though, will get him out.
Delayed, and we'll blink away to safety. Very utilitarian build from Nisha.
Yeah, you have the luxury of doing this as mid-tiny, of going the Yules when your two side link cores do this much damage, right? when your offlaner is Terrorblade, there's less pressure on you to really get there with high damage output, and you can play more of a like setup, catch, control type of build. And you could tell he's
Almost
going
like
Octarine next.
It's like a support, but you have farm.
Yeah,
Radiant's middle tower is
kind
under
of.
attack.
It's a scaling support build in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is
Looking at
under attack.
Octarine Wind Waker. right
Saberlight, that's an instant Orchid.
Good box,
Rolling
though.
Thunder from GPK, though. And Saberlight's going to get diffused. Heritage already going to have to use his ult. You're going to try to surround Saberlight. The RP is enough to take him out right off the bat. Miero gets credit for that one. Wraith King, life number 1. Boxy has no mana to speak of as Nisha comes in with the Avatos onto the Pango, but he gets to the other side of the fissure. Yules will keep him in place, though. And now the Shackle onto V-Tune. I don't know if they have enough follow-up here. GPK is going in really deep. He gets the kill into Boxy. It's going to cost him his own life. And with Abaddon having very low HP, they are able to find Wraith King, but the armlet toggles are there from V-Tune staying alive. Will blink away, and now just farming in the midst of this battle. And the TP out from Miero is successful. Nisha mules onto Rasta, so another support bites the dust. And the Aphotic Shield, and okay, the heal comes out from Kiritich. Save. And the toss is there. Eventually they get the kill that they came for. Will cost them a support though again, as Kiritich. He actually had enough time to get back to Fountain. Yeah, has his ult again. And Nisha, they're burning to this Radiance. V-Tune continuing to armlet toggle to a high degree. Nisha gets to the high ground, thinks he's safe, but Kiritich with the Blink Dagger will finish the job. And now Saberlight has to be a bit careful. Gets off the Sunder, though. Inside that meta as well, but the Blink in time. Man, these are some... Everybody's so aggressive. It's awesome.
You know what would have been good that fight for Liquid? Global Silence.
Yeah.
Now imagine they had that. But it was on cooldown almost until the fight was... That fight lasted forever.
But would the fight have materialized in
That's
the
a
same
good question.
way,
Like, BetBoom
knowing
might
that
not have...
Global-
Exactly. If Global was available, BetBoom might not have even offered up the fight to begin with. But yeah, a lot of high-skill plays coming out here with just the margins. Nice armlet toggle from V-Tune to stay alive. The chase down with the Blink Dagger from Kiritich. And also the choice to buy the dagger here in this slot at this time. Really paying off. This is a great game. I don't really have any favorite right now. It feels dead even. It feels like it's a matter of who gets the right opportunity and who gets to just flat out outmaneuver the enemy team that little bit better. And that's where you could give perhaps a bit of an edge to Liquid's side, if you will, just from the build Nisha has. If this becomes a kiting game, having a Tiny with 4-staff Yules is quite interesting. The Shaker also has a Yules now, so they have 2 of those against the potential mag fishing. Against Pango in the fights and get rid of his shield crash shield, they can keep him in place. But conversely, BetBoom, Aphotic Shield is going to keep them alive and kiting. Ringmaster and Shaman have tons of utility. So, very, very nice game in our hands right now. Smoke up from Liquid. They have Global.
Smoke.
Oh, that's
Big Echo Slam onto 2.
Baby.
GPK dead, save as well. And just like that, it's a 3 versus 5 as they attempt to run away. Crimson Guard already expended. Kataomi surrounded. This will be a 3rd kill for Liquid off the back of Boxy Echo Slam initiation.
Yeah, the fight was over the moment he pressed one button. Blink Echo and they Global. And you can just tell BetBoom have no chance anymore. You can't even... You can try to Manta off the Global and get a save off, but you can't, right? So you still have the reverberating silence to deal with, which was irrelevant there. Abaddon wasn't even in range, but entertaining the idea of maybe Blink Manta saving someone with shield, not going to happen.
Yeah, and that could be the turning point. That could give the advantage that you were just talking about to Liquid for the rest of this game. As
Put the Aegis onto the Terrorblade here.
Yep, the off-lane Terrorblade, but of course, as we've seen many a times, scaling into that position one effectively. The Wraith King has the 2nd life, the mid laner, utility build,
Yeah,
Nisha.
I think it's very good to put this on the Terrorblade. Also because BetBoom have shown a prioritization in fights of getting on the TB. He has been their #1 target, so...
Yep, true.
Removing that option from them in the coming fight is going to make things a lot trickier for BetBoom, because that's kind of been the obvious angle to start the fight, is get on the Terrorblade, kill him so Sunder doesn't find an impact. Now, if you can't go on Terrorblade first and you go on someone else, well, whoever you go on has coverage. There's going to be Global, there's going to be Fissure, and there's going to be a defensive Sunder potentially if you try to find a hero like, say, the Tiny. If you try to kill him and you give him 2 health bars with TB's Aegis. In a way, when Terrorblade has Aegis, everyone has Aegis. Think about it.
Wow, that's really deep.
That's right. That's why I'm here.
The build
Radiant's
from...
bottom tower is under attack.
Wait, who was it? Oh yeah, it was Nisha. It's going to be Octarine into an eventual Wind Waker.
And Nullifier in the quick fight, too.
There's no the Tormentor taken out by BetBoom, so Save will get his shard.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And that means
Radiant's
Ringmaster will have to buy his own Cinderant, which this game is much more useful than the last.
I think you should buy it.
Especially now that Saberlight is starting to scale into effectively a position 1.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for BetBoom. In the same vein, it was also unfortunate for Liquid on the first one, so maybe it's a draw. Because Liquid would have liked the first one to go on Shaker, that one went on Silencer, and then vice versa. Now, there has been a couple of good fights for Insania, so slowly but steadily, he has stolen 27 int. And this does mean that Refresher is already a possibility. Toss back.
Tossed a box. Amazon would be proud of that. Miero, BKB TP, the Nightfall successful. Well executed. Got the Omi with the TP as well. And everyone will live, it seems.
Oh, Save got a little greedy.
Everyone but Safe will live, it seems.
They're going to wait for Silencer to get here. Yo, Insania, get your int! Bro!
Unbelievable.
All right, that's actually triggering.
That's
trigger warning, Silencer enjoyers out there. He ran out of range. That is not okay.
He forgot.
I mean, the silver lining is he has enough int to support the Refresher already because he stole 27.
Yeah, but he wants to turn to the carry. So that's what we all want to see. We've seen the position 3 turn into the position 1. Why not the 5?
Yeah. Well, because he's playing Silencer.
Yeah, infinite scaling.
Yep.
Wait, is it actually infinite?
No.
You don't get int if you can't steal it, right?
Right.
So technically not infinite scaling. GPK will have to use the roll up. Well, they're actually going to use the Echo Slam. Now they'll have the Rolling Thunder. He's bursted down. 5 versus 4. They have the buyback on the GPK, but we're talking about an Aegis now.
Yeah.
On the high ground.
And Liquid feel confident about daring them to fight here. If they get Blink Skewered on the Terrorblade, you do have Aegis. You can spam click defensive Yules as well. Obviously, if Miero pre-BKBs, that's a different story, but... Well,
interesting that Saberlight's the one holding Rosh banner, by the way. I don't see that too often on cores.
Yeah. Should probably put it down here, I think.
Now would probably be the time.
Do you not want to commit to this with Tango still not dying back? Maybe not.
Orchid on the character. It's going to get tossed back. There's the global to follow, but no actual follow-up from Liquid. And maybe with that, they'll have to back away.
It didn't seem fully ready for their own play, really.
I think Insania was just so taken aback that no Rosh banner was placed in there.
If he had 3 more int from the previous kill, he would have known not to use global.
Yeah, true.
But just not quite smart enough with the 100 intelligence.
Yep, and he is ever so close to finishing the old Refresher.
Yeah.
I feel like...
I think the game gets really hard for BetBoom now, to be honest.
Silencer, is this... Where would you put this facet? It's so crazy how good it is.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I think, like, conceptually, it's top 5. It has to be, right? It's so crazy.
I would say it's the reason the hero is picked in Pro.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you put it in that... If you put it into words in that way, then it's got to be one of the absolute best, right? If the hero is enabled to be played professionally because of a facet, then the facet has to be amazing. So, yeah. I think top 5 is probably fair. Kataomi.
Throws out a knife. Does that give away his position?
I think Nisha's looking for a bigger snack,
yeah,
but
GPK would be a bigger one, but they might have to settle. With the Rolling Thunder from GPK finds Boxy.
Well,
to follow. All right, looks like they were ready for this. The skewer out as well. Yules will buy a little bit of time, but Boxy will fall eventually. As the buyback goes, V2's going to focus everything on the save at the moment. He's going to get burned away as a chicken, but he's going to get saved thanks to the box. Oh, he does tick out eventually, so 1 for 1 right now. And Saberlight at half HP. Has the Thunder available, but the RP comes out and the damage is enough. Down goes Saberlight, and now V-Tune with the Nightfall. Oh, he gets bashed. And that is not good news for Liquid. As V-Tune, oh, nice dodge from Kiritich. Not that it mattered too much.
Uh-oh.
3 for nothing.
Yeah, just as I was saying, this is going to start getting hard for BetBoom. They get a free kill on the Shaker, and then Liquid still stayed. So they opted to take this 4v5 that was just not in their favor, and that's a really big win for the side of BetBoom, equalizing the game. The reason I think this is going to get difficult for BetBoom is that once Silencer has Refresher, no matter which initiation play you make on BetBoom, you're going to get globaled. And if Liquid see a chance to pursue the fight, they know they have the secondary one. And if they don't see a chance, they can just use the global defensively, and you're still not feeling confident and then chasing, right? So when that moment kicks in, it's going to get a lot harder. But we're not quite there yet. Still needs a few hundred gold here on Insania, and Kiritich is going to make the most of this little gift they were given here effectively. Pushing down mid. Very, very rich on the Abaddon.
Serpent Ward's on the high ground. Don't think they're going to get this tower, but...
Terrorblade illusions are so good at clearing these. They have so much attack speed and there's so much armor.
If only the Spotlight was available.
He's not queuing it up. I
feel
like that's a miss for me. Like, surely it's good enough when the Terrorblade has this much farm. Like, it's hard to put this into numbers, but if you think about how much damage you do per gold, right? And it's not the only thing it does either. You get the miss chance, you get the vision. It's gotta be good to buy it over a dagger.
But that could be 1,400 into a Dagon.
Yeah, it's better than Dagon. I don't think he's buying Dagon.
Yeah, they do have Hex, right? Insta-kills illusions. Unless they change that.
I mean, he's not going to be hexing illusions here. And I do believe they also changed that, right?
I don't know if they changed his. Rosta's.
Oh, no, it was drains only, right? It was the drains.
Lion.
Lion and Pugna no longer kill illusions with drains, but the hex.
I guess the hex
right?
was never changed.
Yeah. We're mixing it up here. But you're not going to blink in and hex an illusion on Shaman. Like, your spells are too valuable and too important to get off correctly, and it's also a difficult game for your hero in general because of the silencer. So you're probably playing a lot more patiently, waiting for a global to go out, and then maybe you feel like you have an angle to get in.
Dire are scanning.
Speaking of that, Miro will try to get in for some fishing with the Ags, and of course, GPK with the Nullifier will be able to combo with him quite effectively. If they do find someone, these Yules are not going to buy time anymore. Ghost Scepters.
Oh boy.
But
the Shadow Shaman is deleted. My goodness, before the shard could even go off, actually. 70 seconds into Roshan. That's the first global.
He was nullified, right? That's why it didn't even... Yeah, he was nullified by V-Tune.
Oh, I see.
So immediately just broken off. Miro.
Atos plays Echo Slam. Okay, only onto one, but they get the kill nonetheless.
It's well worth it. You just got to build the fight step by step.
Miro with the skewer into the BKB, just trying to run this out into his base. And the Blink Dagger not going to be available to him. No BKB anymore, no life anymore. And there's the Rosh banner placed as Kiritich doing a really good job of clearing this wave, so this is going to delay things. And he should be able to get out as well.
If you're Liquid, you probably just go top, right?
Or Rosh.
Or Rosh, yeah. One or the other. All right, I'll take the safe play. They only had to use one global there. That's a very good sign for them that it wasn't even necessary for Insania to double down.
He did use Refresher, though.
He did use it, but did end up having to pop the global. Just had it ready. And I like this approach from Liquid to the fight. So you can tell that they're just trying to get heroes one by one. Tiny's going to try to look for a blink toss back, and Wraith can go for that. Shaker not hesitating at all to pop everything he has to kill a Ringmaster that's standing on his own. You just need to break the fight open, get a kill here, a kill there, and then things are going to fall into place very nicely, because the way BetBoom's lineup works is very much concentrated around one area. You want to hit a big RP, you want to hit a Rolling Thunder, you want to get Abaddon into the center of the fight. Well, if the center of the fight keeps moving, it's a lot harder to structure it in a way that makes these Radiant heroes really thrive. So that's why Nisha's Tiny has been so instrumental in this game, just constantly displacing and breaking BetBoom's formation every time they try to do something.
And Liquid looking to potentially initiate here. Wraith Fire Blast to start things out into the global.
Oh, well worth it.
And
if they kill him.
GPK isolated and dead. Just a matter of time. They find the pickoff they needed. Now have the numbers advantage. And we'll see what they're able to do with this. At the very least, you're going to take out this tier 2 top, but they have plenty of time, Cinderin.
Yeah.
If they push the envelope. Still with the Aegis.
If they think Pango doesn't have buyback, they would definitely get a side here. They would hard commit for mid. They don't know for sure that there's no buyback on GPK, but you can. I honestly think you could probably still chance it with Wraith King, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Vtoon was TPing back, and somebody made the call, no, stay, we're going to push here. So he canceled his TP, toss out.
Back onto the Abaddon. This is a pretty tough kill. We're going to try to force out the ult at the very least. Wheel of Wonder. Actually be used successfully, but it's only onto Terrorblade, and there's no follow-up whatsoever. Serpent Ward's placed in a defensive measure as well. And even if they ended up getting that kill onto Saberlight, he is the one with the Aegis. He's going to farm up these wards. Still 20 seconds away for the Pango. Now the buildings are coming. So Miero, RP available.
But yeah, now that Pango's up, you don't have Serpent Wards, you don't have Wheel of Wonder.
And Kiritich blinks in with the Manta. He's going to get Orchided. He's taking a lot of damage. Finally, the ult will go off, and he gets the full HP. That big Horde Toss onto 2. But a nice Yules from Nisha, avoiding the RP as a result, but he still has it at his disposal. The one Wraith King ult down, but there's the global silence for the follow-up. And now, looks like BetBoom have to back away, at least temporarily. Vtoon trying to get out of dodge. The BKB is gone. Now he's going to get focused down by Kiritich and the rest of the lineup. That's going to be the second death for him as GPK onto the high ground, but there's a second global to follow. Vtoon gets off the Wraith Fire Blast. Unable to find any connection outward, though, as Kiritich still on the high ground. The skewer from Miero, bringing Nisha to the high ground. A big kill for BetBoom.
Boxy, he echoed the ground. He was burnt by an Abaddon random Manta illusion Radiance in the back line. So he thought he had a moment of opportunity to turn that fight around on the Wraith King respawn, but not the case. And that's a really good defense there from BetBoom. All things considered, you did not have Wheel of Wonder, you did not have Mass Serpent Wards, but the double grab from Miero there on the Horn Toss, really important. And it chained it up nicely too. They kind of anticipated that he wouldn't be able to RP after his skewer, so they skewered them into the Tame the Beasts combo rather than into an immediate RP.
Yeah.
And then they could get the RP afterwards. So beautifully played by BetBoom.
So Vtoon popped the refresher shard to be able to live a third time.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't fully die.
So that was expended as well. So that was Aegis and refresher, and he's still lost. A really, really good hold from BetBoom. Level 25s are starting to become a thing here. Obviously, Abaddon had his. He's now 26. Gonna see the 25 come out now on Vtoon. He will take the Mortal Strike cooldown. So now it's down to 2.5 seconds. This is a massive DPS increase for carry Wraith King. Pangolier is 24.5.
Will Kataomi get the Cinderin? Yes.
He will. All right.
Spotlight.
Well, now he got it for free. So now he can almost get his Blink Dagger that he still didn't afford. But now that's going to become a reality at the very least.
They might run the Saberlight here. He is very tough to kill, though. Has the BKB Butterfly, Hurricane Pike, S&Y Orchid. He is stacked. But some reinforcements have arrived for Liquid as, they actually did find the stun onto Miero with the Fissure. He's going to have to pop the BKB, Ogre Seal Totem, as well as Skewer. And he's going to be able to blink out eventually. GPK wants to continue on here with the Rolling Thunder. Saberlight has to pop the BKB. There's a Spotlight, deleting all the illusions. Well, one remains, and then it goes into the Spotlight and dies. The Rolling Thunder Used more in the defensive measures. BetBoom weren't able to really capitalize too much.
That's fine. It's a pretty short cooldown. You have Octarine Core, 60 seconds only. And that Ogre Seal Totem is such an insane neutral. I think it's the best one in the game. In my opinion, this is the item. It's just crazy in a situation. Like, Miero has literally any other neutral in there, he's dead.
It might be, I mean, the stats might say otherwise, but versus tier 5s, I think it's something you think about keeping.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the tier 5s have gotten significantly worse than they used to be in terms of like their active use.
I mean, you can still get an Ogre Seal Totem with the enchantment, right?
Oh, that's
the
true.
thing. So
Yeah,
you can just get the enchantment version of it instead of the relic version or yeah. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's a good one.
It really is. Arcane Rune on the deck here.
GPK is going to want that.
He really wants that on the Pango. He's preparing his bottle already as we speak. And well, with how Liquid are grouping up, this does look like a potential smoke play, but...
Oh. Okay, Kiritich just takes it.
What?
All right.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
All right. Virtus Pro send their regards.
Yeah, I guess. Like, he's just doing what Pier would have done, I think. Just cosplaying.
Did you mention his refresher on Abaddon? That's a really big item in this game. Liquid can't reliably prevent him from getting his ulti off. They don't have a break yet, right? So he will always get the ult off, and this means by extension he will always get it off twice. Because they have the silences to potentially prevent him from getting off the manual borrowed time, but until there is any break in play, it's always gonna pop. They don't have an overkill crit either. No. It's just there every time. They can't prevent it. Maybe a well-timed Wraith King crit, I guess.
Maybe.
Not out of the question.
It's a bit difficult, I think.
It is. And also it's one you can't plan for, right? It's just, you get lucky if it happens, but you can't strategize around that.
Saberlight. He's going to pop the smoke from GPK, who uses the ult. There's the global, though.
They found the perfect target.
They did. Earthshaker. Gonna get stun locked. Abyssal Blade. Force that from Nisha, though, to try to keep him alive. Boxy sheeped. RP only onto one, but it is the silencer, so no second global for you. 2 dead for Liquid already. 5 versus 3 advantage for BetBoom. As Vtoon, he is surrounded completely, but he's gonna have multiple lives to work with. Spotlight used to clean up some illusions. And I think it's just a matter of time, although Vtoon still had the BKB. We'll attempt the TP out. Bash finally comes. And that is going to be another life dead for Vtoon.
That's an interesting
great
sentence.
fight. What did I say? Another life dead?
Another life dead.
Technically makes sense.
Oh, that's good enough.
You don't need
He doesn't
to be
have
perfect.
buy. Yeah, that was just perfect. This is the dream scenario for BetBoom. This is the one thing, like when I was talking about this stage of the game being difficult for BetBoom, it's with the perspective of Liquid do not get their supports jumped. Right, that's the #1 thing that can't happen. Wraith King takes forever to kill. Tiny takes forever to kill. Terrorblade's hard to kill. But the supports are easy pickings, and they have so much to offer if they do not become the target. But guess who BetBoom found? It was one support into the next. And that was in spite of Global being popped early by Insania. Boxy just couldn't get out of there. He gets nullified, and he's just screwed. He has Ogre Steel, so technically there is a way if he's not chain stunned, but he didn't get to play.
Dire's middle tower is
Here
under
we go.
attack.
Down the mid lane, BetBoom. Looking for a 2-0 here. Not going to be easy, though.
No, this is not over by a long stretch. 30 seconds of no Wraith King. The Lincoln Sphere. Okay, for Nisha.
Middle tower has fallen.
Interesting.
Is this for himself? Or is it for someone else?
Probably not. There's now a refresher for Miero. We're getting to some real late game scenario here. As Rosh will go the way of BetBoom, but Liquid are on the way. And eventually it will fall. GPK looks like he'll take the Aegis. Spotlight used to clean up some illusions. Nisha and company still want to fight, though, apparently. Going to focus on the Ringmaster, but the Ogre Steel Tome is going to keep him alive. Saberlight gets Abyssal Bladed, but they finally get the hero that they came for, at least initially. Kataomi dead. Buyback is there. The RP onto 2 heroes from Miero into the Wheel of Wonder, into the second RP as well. Do they have the damage? Saberlight, he gets it off in time. The Sunder is successful. Going to try to turn this around now, as that is a dead Magnus, no buyback whatsoever. Cheese is going to be applied. Boxy comes in with the Echo Slam. Only under 1 hero, it seems like. As Nisha gets off the toss. Going to be able to use the Ogre Steel Totem to get away. 2 dead for Liquid now. Make that 3, although the Wraith King will come back to life, but he is surrounded, and the rest of his team has abandoned him. So this will go the way of BetBoom. They still maintain Aegis after all of that as well. As V2 trying to walk it off, but some things you can't escape, and death is one of them.
And the other one is Shadow Shaman's tongue.
Yeah, I guess
that was a
there.
1,000 range shackle in the early stage of that fight. That was such a long shackle, and he even has the level 20 talent. I think you might see it off to the side here. So look at this angle that he's able to find on the Shadow Shaman onto Boxy. And this lasts full duration. Sure, they don't kill him here, but it gives all the time in the world to get this double RP. Boxy has to run all the way southeast to try to reset. And if this Thunder doesn't come off, Liquid just get absolutely destroyed. Like, he got I think that was a 2% HP Sunder, and they still lost.
Yeah.
So imagine.
Now they have to worry about their base just a little bit here. Kiritich still has his ult to work with, as there's the Rolling Thunder from GPK. Gonna try to focus things on the Earthshaker. Boxy's dead, no buyback, and still no Wraith King for 40 seconds. Global Silence finally comes out.
Saberlight.
Rolling Thunder still up and running.
He needs to Thunder soon.
Yeah, he's gonna do that onto GPK, who gets the Swashbuckle off in time. Creep toss, but not to too much of effect, as Kiritich trying to focus on the backline right now, as Instania burning away, as Save with another long-range shackle. Gonna be followed up with a Swashbuckle. They don't do too much damage here, as the toss is gonna be used to save Instania for the time being. As Kiritich, there's the second global. And this is going to be the Aegis down for GPK eventually, but the Crimson's preventing his death, it seems like, as Saberlight using the Ogre Steel Totem, putting himself in a precarious spot. He's going to get forced death multiple times, apparently. Back to the base he goes. Kiritich.
Ulti again.
Now the ulti is running out now. They're only able to get the range racks, though. They knew that the buyback was not available for Boxy, but apparently, with not this much HP left for their carry, Abaddon, they will back away and play it safe.
Invisibility.
And the buyback on Terrorblade is big, though, because now they have the perfect target, too. I think you're still prioritizing the supports by all means if you can, but if you see a weak point at any moment and you can catch and kill Saberlight, that's probably game over. Like, he's just too important for the Liquid side to keep alive in the fight. Without buyback, he will be a way more appealing target. I believe actually, there's no Tormentor and no Rosh, so this is like a little bit of an awkward moment for both teams where there's no clear objective, which can be a good thing. Now you can just push out the waves and look for a smoke and gaining ground instead of constantly looking for the next and the next and the next thing you have to do.
And I believe, yeah, that's already a consumed Aghanim Scepter for Kiritich on the Abaddon.
Oh, that's a big one.
So borrowed time lasts longer now, and you already have multiple of them because of the refresher, and the Mist Coil will be applied to teammates nearby based on the damage that you're taking.
And Liquid have no healing reduction, so he can actually use this to try to save his teammates. I think he's
going a Rapier as well. He's going to take apart the Radiance. I mean,
yeah.
He's virtually unkillable.
I mean, he could burn his first ult as a save a teammate measure, but I think he has to reserve the second one for himself.
He's not really safe for buyback
Liquid
either.
they can't go on this guy. They know he's there, but there's just no way.
The GPK, on the other hand, very gettable. There's the global to help continue this pressure, as GPK will lose his life. Has buyback, though, and Kiritich is going to jump in. That's a buyback now from GPK. Kiritich, I mean, that's probably not the hero you want to focus on. This is going to be the first ult coming out. Refresher still available. Wheel of Time. The Wraith King finally will die one time. Crimson Guard now onto Miero. He's going to have to skewer away. And the Sheep onto Saberlight, as Save is going to use... Okay, the RP comes out from Miero. He has the second one to use as well. Saberlight, no way to get his Thunder off. He is dead. No buyback. 5 versus 4 advantage. BetBoom, Rolling Thunder from GPK. Insane able to get to the high ground though. And Nisha, blink dagger just in time. Can they get more on the BetBoom side? Another global silence, knowing that Liquid have to try to fight this out 4v5. But the Abyssal Blade applied. V-Tune still at half HP and stay on the high ground. He's going to get the shackle onto the Earthshaker. They're not doing too much damage though, as GPK is blown up via V-Tune. And now BetBoom are on the retreat because no buyback available. That's a dieback for GPK. Kiritich ends up taking out V-Tune eventually. Still 90 seconds on deck, has the buyback though. They take out Boxy as well, Insanity with the TP, but it's canceled. And that is going to be the death of the Silencer. So 4 dead for Liquid. They have 2 buybacks remaining here. As Nisha should be able to get back to base just fine. We'll be pushing waves. Try to prevent this eventual push coming out from BetBoom.
They have a full minute. They have to be able to force buybacks. They even have the top wave all the way at the enemy base with siege creeps, so this is basically perfect timing. And with both ultis still available for Kiritich and a rapier arriving, he's saying this game, it's time for the game to end. He's almost even level 30. Holy shit, this net worth. Yeah. Created a 12,000 distance to somehow Tiny being second on Liquid, by the way. I don't know how that's possible.
You definitely do not even go for this melee, Rex. You don't want to refresh any fortification coming out. Miero and company going to focus onto Nisha. Lincoln's applied, going to block one thing. Buybacks come out from 2 members, including V2. So they eventually do get the melee. Fortification available for Liquid. Now they're playing it safe. We'll be going for multiple lanes instead of the outright win. But again, the tier 2 bottom still up and running. Serpent Ward's placed.
Kiritich hits for 700 with Empower.
That's a lot.
He doesn't have a critical strike, but doesn't matter on the buildings.
Yep, they're going to get the second, but toss back.
Nice Manta dodge.
That's a lot of pressure onto Kiritich. Ult number 1. And they cancel the TP, not through the BKB, so he is away and out. I don't believe, although Nisha...
totems, man.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of them. Orchid applied. They will find 1 member of BetBoom on the retreat. Ringmaster dead for 2 minutes, no buyback.
How many Ogre Seal totems are in this game? 5. Okay. That's fine.
And, I mean, 3 of them on Liquid. Advantage Liquid, it seems.
Yep. Level 30 Abaddon. Closing in on the 1 hour mark.
Oh, yeah.
Get to see some of those tier 5 neutral items. Book of the Dead has won a couple of games in recent memory. Could be a way for BetBoom to try to finish it off. It is hard to defend against triple Book of the Dead plus Serpent Wards. It's not easy to clean out all the trash quickly enough.
Trying to clear the waves was GPK. Rosh, well, we don't know how long it'll take, but it could be up now, as far as Liquid is concerned. So who has advantage at this stage of the game? With this many refreshers before the tier 5s come out.
To me, it seems like the biggest X factor in this game is that Liquid don't have a break. I'm still... Until they have that, I really like BetBoom more because Kiritich has total freedom. He's 16-1-8 for a reason this game. And would you look at that? Liquid have recognized this, and they're buying 2 Silver Edges, 1 on V-Tune and 1 on Boxy. At least he's getting Shadow Blade. But yeah, V-Tune just... It's like, we can't kill Abaddon. I have to buy a break. And there are 2 options in the game for that. One is to buy Silver Edge, and the other one is to buy Conda and therefore lose. So you're going to buy Silver Edge.
Have you seen Conda?
I have not seen it.
So how do you know it'll lose?
That's fair. I genuinely think since the item got reworked to have the break, I've seen it 0 times in total.
Yeah.
0 pro games, 0 pub games. Just never. Literally gone.
I literally forgot it existed, to be honest.
Like nobody buys it.
So Roshan attempt, BetBoom, they're going to get here not quite in time. Saberlight will take the Aegis, all the goodies for Liquid. So BetBoom likely going to be, well, I'm going to say play a little bit defensive. 30 seconds away from tier 5s. They will show themselves in the mid lane.
It's a really important Rosh to get, though. A lot of the time when you get to the 1 hour mark, the Rosh starts mattering less and less because you have slot starvation. But in this game, you actually are able to fully support it on the Terrorblade. And in addition to that, having the extra refresher on, you're not going to put that on Silencer. Obviously, you only want the 2 globals, but having that shard on Wraith King means you kind of got 2 Aegises in this Rosh kill. And the 1-hour mark has been hit, and that means BetBoom are off to the jungle. Here comes Kataomi and Kiritich farming in tandem.
All right, what's the item? What are you hoping for?
Book of the Dead.
5 Book of the Dead?
Yeah, probably.
Why has that become the item?
Because the other ones are not as good as they used to be.
I guess that's true. Book of the Dead didn't really change, did it?
Let me see. What would be nice here? I mean, 1 Deso would be nice, of course. Yeah. For both teams, you would want 1 Deso. And then, yeah, I think you want Deso and Book of the Dead.
Man, I miss Giant's Ring and Force Boots, I'm not going to lie. Spider Legs is like a poor man's version, I guess.
Yeah.
Very poor man's version. All right, let's... It's funny that we get to this mark and everybody's like, all right, let's stop fighting. Everybody can be allowed to jungle. Let's get these tier 5s and discuss them. I mean, Magic Lamp is solid.
Yeah, that was the other one I was looking at.
It is Abaddon, and you're not really dying. He's going to take it anyway, just as a fail-safe, I suppose. Combines it with the extra stats as well.
I guess this one can't be broken, right? So he now has this if they get Silver Edge.
Can it be nullified, though?
Is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Good question. Valve?
I would assume yes.
I don't think so. I feel like
You
this
would assume
always,
no.
I feel like this always goes off. But
I guess it's not, yeah, it's just like it's a binary thing, whether it's on or
comes
off.
PPK.
Saberlight, Rolling Thunder applied. Along with the bash, Saberlight able to get off his ult onto the Abaddon. Magic Lamp goes off, and now the full reset likely, although Vtune is in really deep. Miara's going to fake out the RP. Spotlight applied right now is Vtune. Trying to get to the low ground. Going to take a knife. And safe. Looks like he's going to get brought down eventually. Is the RP not really going to do too much here? That's already 1 dead, but the Rasta buys back instantly. Going to focus everything onto Insane. Tries to get to the high ground, but he's dead. No way to get back into the game either. Aegis advantage still on the Liquid side, but the numbers are down. Kiritich getting really low. Echo Slam onto 2 from Boxy. And Vtune getting extremely low in the meantime. Gonna get the shield crash off his Boxy. Getting really low, but the Stunner's gonna keep him alive a little bit longer. There's the RP finally coming out again from Miero. That's 2 dead though for Liquid. They buy back onto Boxy. Finally, a member of BetBoom dies without buyback, and that is the Rasta. Nisha being applied a lot of pressure from the Abaddon. Fissure onto a couple heroes as Boxy trying to get the high ground with that shard. There's the break, but it is on the Pango. Not gonna do too much, but the damage is there. Buyback down to GPK.
Barracks are under
Try to apply more pressure here as the creeps are in their base as well. Nisha, a toast up. Just need a little bit more damage, but the Sunder's going to keep him alive. As Kiritich trying to find the pesky Terrorblade on the outskirts. Not going to find him. Boxy's deleted instead. No buyback for him. And that's only 2 members left without any other buybacks here for Liquid. Can they defend in a 2 versus 4 situation? And Kataomi pretty low, so they are going to try to delete him. The Magic Lamp's going to keep him alive. Nice bait from the BetBoom side. Wind Waker. Nisha just constantly doing things as apparently the Ancient is exposed. Will be fortified though, but Kiritich and company should be able to take this out as Saberlight has nothing left at his disposal, and that is the Ancient down. And BetBoom take game number 2.